So we have already explained a basic idea of data processing and what is data processing and why data is processed. So actually, I think we have already discussed why process data and what is about the quality of data. And yes, data quality, we have told you that these are the different dimensions of data quality. That is, uh, see this particular picture gives you the idea of these three characteristics: accessibility, clarity, and relevance are related to the data definitions, and all other characteristics like consistency, completeness, timeliness, accuracy, and cost. All these are related to the data values. Means what I'm trying to mean by that, data definition means that how the data would be the data should be clearly understood. So that is related to the definition part. And data values should be consistent, data values should be complete, data values should be given in a timeliness manner, data values should be accurate, and data values are related to the cost. So these are the parts. So data quality can be assured only when this data values as well as data definitions are betterly clarified. And in the data definition part, we have already talked about the relevance, believability, clarity, and accessibility. So these are the things that we have already discussed earlier lecture. So and we have already also discussed this major task in data processing and forms of data processing. So we have already uh, given that. So let's so next so we have already discussed data processing. Now next part is the descriptive data summarization. So let's see what is that. So let's go to the descriptive data summarization part. So what is descriptive data summarization? Actually, descriptive data summarization means whatever data we have that is descriptive. We have given example in the previous class about the previous day that we have given example that I think I have given an example on the data on cars. So for I have gathered the data from different websites, the details of the cars, and then those data I had to summarize. So before doing that, what are the things that has to be kept in mind? So must have overall picture of your data. One means what kind of data you are looking after, or what kind of data you are trying to use. For this, you have to have a clear picture in your mind that what kind of data is required for your purpose. So you must have the overall picture of your data. Then highlight which data value should be treated as noise or outliers. Noise or outliers means which are not relevant, or outliers means which is not properly maintained or not properly given for your purpose, for your task, for your data processing job, or whatever is required. So you have to know which values are, you have to treat, you have to find out, you have to check the values which can be treated as noise, which are not relevant, or which could has to be which data has to be removed. Then concrete working of data processing techniques means what are the different types of data processing techniques are relevant for your purpose, what you are trying to achieve. Like the example that I have given in the previous day, I'll come back. So, concrete working of data processing techniques and data characteristics. So, as I was saying just in the last day, that we have shown this particular data set that say I have some car data and I have collected the data from different websites. See, these are my data collection, data gathering, data aggregation, you can say. So I have collected that data from different websites, and from there I have to search which type of data I require and which type of data I do not require, and Accordingly, I have to make this. See, this is the Excel sheet that I have made for my working purpose. So that is an important aspect of data processing technique. So this is a concrete working of data process. So how we what is the amount, what is the data, concrete set of data that I must have for my working, that is important. Also the data characteristics like mean, median, mode, mid-range, like are to be known so that those can be used for the analysis of data, and that gives you the detailed idea of the what is the detailed idea of the data. So also data measurement of dispersion like quartiles, interquartile range, we will be learning all this. We will be learning all this with respect to our syllabus in a details. But right now we will be just mentioning those things as a part of uh, a data processing technique. So, and also the next point is efficiency of large database. If you are having a large database, then uh, different kinds of data retrieval is possible, and then you can test and use that data in such a way so that different processes, different kind of analysis can be performed with a large database. Also, the notions of distributive measure, algebraic measure, and holistic measures are part of the data summarization technique. Holistic measure means it tries to give overall idea about the data set, the characteristics of the different characteristics of the items of the so that you are trying to measure. And distributive measure means how the probability distribution, how the data frequency looks like. So we will be learning those things. So in the descriptive data summarization, all these things are important. So let's go a few bit more. Yes, so we have already studied the central tendency and different types of. What is the central tendency? If you remember in the last year when we discussed what is a central tendency, it is the tendency of the data to locate themselves centrally. To locate themselves centrally means if you check a set of data, like if you go through the runs scored by Sachin Tendulkar in different innings, whatever he has scored, so you will find out most of the runs he has scored, most values are around his average scores. His average score is average is 54 point something. So if you check the distribution, if you check the runs he has scored in different innings, you will find most of the values will be lying around that 54 mark. Similarly, in a class, if you try to find out the average height of the student, so you will find that most of the students in a class will be of average height. Very few will be taller, exceptionally taller, and very few will be exceptionally shorter. So one of the measure of central tendency is mean, and mean is calculated by sample mean is calculated by x bar is equal to summation xi by n, where n is the number of data in the small n is the number of data in the sample, and the population mean is denoted by capital mu, and which is also summation x by capital N, where capital N is the number of elements in the population. These things we have learned in the previous semester, previous year also. And a weighted mean or arithmetic mean, where some weights, some frequencies are given, some frequencies are there. So we write that a summation fi xi or summation wi, where wi or fi are the frequencies. So fi xi or wi xi are the frequency, and total the average can be found out summation wi xi by summation wi. So that is how weighted arithmetic mean can be found out. Okay, so as I was saying, there are three types of central tendency, and those are mean, median, and mode. So mean gives you the measurement of average value of all the data. So that is either it could be found out by simple mean, which is sum of the you just add all the values and divide by the number of values. That is how we find the mean, arithmetic mean. Then there is something called trimmed mean, which where the chopping of extreme values are done. Extreme values means if it's too different from the original values, means it's too wide values, means exceptionally tolerant. As I was saying, some values which are exceptionally different, and those values could be omitted. So, and then some aggregation can be done. Now, median is a holistic measure. Why median is called a holistic measure? Median, as you know, what is median? Median is the middlemost value. Median is calculated in terms of position of the data. So you arrange the data in ascending or descending order of sequences. Then you divide the data into halves, and the middlemost value means up to for that middlemost value, the values which are left, which are less than that middlemost value, and the values which are in the right are the greater than that particular middlemost value. So in case of median, our idea gives median gives you the holistic measure, because it tries to give the idea what is the middle positional depending upon the position. And in case of odd number of data, there is a single position and single middlemost value. And in case of even number of data, then we find out what are the two middlemost values are there, and we find out the average of those two middle values in case of a even number. So I think we have done this earlier. And mode, if you remember, mode was the value was the data with highest frequency, means which particular data is coming more frequently in a database or in a distribution, and that particular kind of data will be termed as a mode. And the frequency or a data set could be unimodal or bimodal or trimodal. Means unimodal means maybe a particular only single value appears more than the others. Bimodal means there are two values which appear more than the others. And the trimodal means maximum there are three different values which appear more than the others. And there is an empirical formula relating mean, median, and mode. It's an empirical formula. Mind that when any two of them are known, then the third can be found out using this particular formula. That is mean minus mode equals to 3 into mean minus median. So this is called the empirical formula. This is not every time, it is not necessarily true, but when there is not individual data is not present, then only any two of the values are given, then we can always find out the third by using this particular formula. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Yes. So also this is also a representation of the data, the symmetricity and the skewness of the data. I think we have if our data is symmetric, means it will look like this. The mean, median, and mode values are all the mean, median, and mode values are all same, and left side of the data and the right side of the data are exactly similar, look like. So it will be called symmetric. You can say the right hand part is the mirror image of the left hand side. And just stopping. Okay. So as I was saying, so if it is very important to understand how the data looks like, because that gives you the summarization, the description of the data can be easily understood from the looks of the graph of the data set. So this particular the first figure in the top, that gives you the symmetric data set, which is exactly similar mirror image with respect to this particular axis. So this part will be exactly falling over the other side if you take a mirror image of that. So in this case, Mean, median, and mode are all the three of them are same. This is called positively skewed data. So initially it is the tapering part, and then it is flattening. Initially tapering means sharp, initially sharp, and then it become, after it reaches the top, it became flatter. So in this case, this is the mode, then comes the median, and then comes the mean. So in case of a positively skewed data, the mode comes first because mode is the highest frequency, so it comes first. Then is the middlemost value is the median, and then the mean. So this is how mean, median, mode will be looked like in case of a positively skewed distribution. And this particular, the third figure is the negatively skewed, means initially it will be flattening, then it picks up, and then it drops sharply. So that is negatively skewed. So in this case, negatively skewed, the initially the mean will be at the beginning, then the median, and finally the mode. As we have said, mode is the highest frequency. So this height is the highest frequency. Highest most point is the mode, and median is the middlemost, means this side and left side and right side, the number of values will be equal in left to the mode values, and median value, left side values and right side values will be same, and the mean will be calculated according to the values. So because there are so many values this side, so this will be mean here. So this particular graph is the negatively skewed data set, or for a negatively skewed data set, the graph will look like this. For a positively skewed data set, the graph will look like initially it is sharp, uh, sharp, and then it is flat. And for a symmetric data set, it will be both the sides will be more or less equal. Let's go to the next slide. So how we measure the dispersion? We have discussed this. We measure the dispersion. We have discussed this earlier. Dispersion of the data means dispersion, deviation. We use different types of terminologies for the dispersion. Means one of the measure is the range. That means find out. We generally try to find out the maximum value and the minimum value, and the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value is the range. Here we talk about quartiles, outliers, and box plots in case of dispersion. In case of our data analytics subject, we use this particular terminologies. Quartiles, I think first quartile and third quartile we have already explained in the previous first semester. First quartile is the 25th percentile value, and third quartile is the 75th percentile value, and the second quartile is nothing but the median. So to how to find out the Q1 and Q3? Q1 is the first quartile, so we arrange the data set in the ascending order. Ascending order means smaller to larger, and you break the whole data set in 4 equal parts. So first 25%. So first part gives you the first quartile, and the last 25% is the 75. Q3 is the last quartile or third quartile. So that gives you the 75th percent. From 75 to 100% data values at the third quartile and at the beginning. So first quartile, then the second quartile is the middlemost value or the median, and then the third quartile. And interquartile range is the Q3 minus Q1. So difference between the third quartile and first quartile is termed as the interquartile range. And next, then there is another way of explaining the data set is 5-number summary, where minimum value, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, what is the Q1 means first quartile, what is the median, M is the median value, and Q3 is the third quartile. So this 5 values tells you about the distribution of data, how the data set will look like, so how the values are distributed, and that these are the kind of description. Our objective here is to find out the description of the whole data. So instead of explaining the whole data, we are trying to summarize the characteristics of the data. So these 5 characteristics, these 5 different values like minimum value of the data set and the maximum value of the data set. Then Q1, Q3 and M, or first quartile, third quartile and the median values gives also with mean and mode gives you the total representation and total idea of the data set what we are handling. Next is the box plot. So what is box plot? I'll explain it in the next slide. And box plots are the ends of the box that are quartiles, median is marked. So I'll just show you what is there in the box plot. See, this is a box plot. This is a 5 number summary. Like this particular graph gives you the unit price of a particular product. So this is the lower limit, means minimum value of the unit price. Say during the year for a particular product, what was the cost, what was the variation of the cost of a particular product. Say maybe for a mobile phone. So this particular value gives you the minimum value and this particular value gives you the maximum value at the top there. And this is the first quartile value. This lower limit is the first quartile, this is the middle value is the median value, and this is the third quartile value. And from third quartile to the median, that's a box is being represented, and from first quartile to the median there is another box. So this is what is called a box plot, where the 5 number summary, minimum value, maximum value, first quartile, median and third quartile, and these are represented in a box. So data is represented with a box. The ends of the box are the first and the third quartile. See, this box is first quartile and this part is the third quartile, and the median is marked by a line within the box. So this is the median value. So two lines outside the box are extended to the minimum and maximum. See, these are whiskers. This line and the line above the back. So this is the maximum value, like 500 or something like that. Here the 100 value is the minimum value. So all the data are within this particular range, and it is understood that the most of the values are within this particular part. Most of the values are within this particular boxes. So that's called the box plot analysis, where the five values are important. The following values like minimum, maximum, Q1, Q3 and median. So that was the box plots and whisker. And also the plot also plot our outliers we will be discussing later. Outliers means which are outside the normal range, are generally termed as the outliers, usually a value higher than or lower than the 1.5 into interquartile range. So that are termed mathematically how the outliers are defined. A value higher or lower than the interquartile range means Q3 minus Q1. So in the box plot, see, this is the interquartile range from this particular value to this particular value, and you multiply with 1.5 means it will be somewhere here and somewhere here. So exception, as I was saying, that exceptionally tall and exceptionally short, those values are called outlier values. Exceptionally high values and exceptionally low values are the outlier values. So in general those are omitted, and most values will be lying within that particular, maybe 99% values will be lying within that particular domain or within particular range. So that is actually the part of the analysis. And also we know how to find the variance and standard deviation. Root mean square deviation or standard deviation. That is how we define the standard deviation as root mean square deviation, and it is this, for sample it is defined this way, that is a square is the variance, which is 1 by n minus 1, because if you remember that as I was saying, that outliers are the usually a value higher or lower than 1.5 into IQR means interquartile range. So interquartile range is the difference between Q3 and Q1, that is third quartile and first quartile. So that's about 50% of the value. And if you multiply 1.5 into 50% means it will be again almost 75% values are covered. So and outside those range, outside that range means either there will be very high values or very low values. So those values will be treated as outliers. Those values will be treated as outliers, and generally for certain cases we can omit those values, we can neglect those values to summarize, to aggregate, to measure the data, to measure the relevance of the data, which so that those amounts of data can be used in such a way so that leaving the outliers. And then we study the variance and standard deviation. So for in case of sample we denote that by small s, and for population we denote that by sigma. And the sample variance, and variance is the square of standard deviation, and standard deviation we define as root mean square deviation, or that means we find the difference. Xi minus x bar is the difference from the mean. Then the difference could be either could be positive or negative. So to remove that ambiguity, we just square it. So xi minus x bar whole square. Then to find the average, we just sum and divide by n. In case of population, we divide by capital N, and uh, in case of sample, we divide by n minus 1. Why n minus 1? In case of sample, the degrees of freedom, degrees of freedom is diminished by 1. That's why we divide by n minus 1. And for that gives the definition of variance, sample variance, which is summation xi minus x bar whole square by n minus 1 is the sample variance. And for standard deviation, we just square root that. So square root that will give you the sample standard deviation. And in case of population, same definition can be used, that is summation xi minus mu whole square by n capital N, and that gives the definition of variance. And to find out the standard deviation, we just square root. So root, this is the mean and the square. So first you take from mean, we take the deviation, then we square it, then find the average mean of that, and then square root that to find the standard deviation. So these are the basic measures of dispersion of data. And we have already discussed about the box plot. Yes, so some normal distribution is the continuous distribution that we have already is the which all the data can be approximated. All kind of distributions can be approximated to normal distribution, and normal distribution is kind of symmetric distribution. It is symmetric about its mean. And normal distribution, we generally denote the mean as mu, and denote the standard deviation as sigma. So mu plus minus sigma. So this is for the standard normal distribution, because it is the average is this is for 0, from 0 to it is minus infinity, and this is the side is plus infinity. So between minus 1 and plus 1, that means between mu minus sigma and mu plus sigma, about 60% of the values are lying. For mu plus minus 2 sigma, about 95% values are lying. See, in this case there is a shade. And mu plus minus 3 sigma, so this is minus 1 sigma, this is sigma. These are the sigma values. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 are the sigma values. Plus 1, plus 2, plus 3 are the sigma values. Sigma means the standard deviation value. So from mean to plus minus 3 sigma, and this is called the 6 sigma range, or 6 sigma, which has almost 99.7% values lie within that particular range. And others are outliers. So generally, in case of when we talk about the data set, we sometimes we restrict our conversation within the data set, within the range of mu plus minus sigma. If we want more precise result, we take mu plus minus 2 sigma, or 95% data. And much precision of result is required, or when we require the more precise and much precise result. In that case, plus minus 3 sigma, that is 6 sigma data amount of data has been taken, which gives you 99% point. But handling more data will become more tedious, difficult job. So less data means easier to handle and easier to, but result will be a little bit. The result may not be much correct, much accurate. This is the more or less the description about the this is the more or less description about our data summarization. And next day we will be discussing the visualization of the data dispersion.